Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, what a weekend. Oh my goodness. I'm right on fumes right now. Not really. I feel okay. Welcome back. Week 2, Morning Sam Podcast. Wow, man. I'm still speechless from last night on what we saw here. Like what we saw at AEW. Adam Copeland debuts, the rated R superstar Adam Copeland debuts last night at AEW's WrestleDream. We're going to be talking about that. Also, as well, we're going to be talking about the backstage news behind it and the press notes and from the media scrum and all that stuff. And also, as well, we'll be talking about NXT. You know, we're not going to forget about NXT and what they did on Saturday, which was a great show. And we'll be, I don't know if we're going to be reviewing, we're going to talk about all the results, but I don't know if I'm going to go an in-depth review because there's a lot to talk about here, and we only got an hour and a half. So we had 90 minutes, and we're at 89 minutes, so we got to get the show on the road. But, man, again, welcome to the Morning Sam Podcast. This is Justin here live on YouTube, youtube.com. And if you're listening to me on Spotify, you know, or Google Play or Google Podcasts, wherever they're called, Apple Podcasts, wherever they're called out there, yeah, leave me a 5-star review. And, you know, just say how great I am or something like that. Leave a comment down below in this video here on YouTube. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications bell, all that good stuff here. Also, follow me on X. Actually, don't follow me on X, or you still can follow me on X, but Twitter suspended my account. Don't know why. Just created. Have no idea. I don't know, it's because I was posting a lot, trying to get engagement, but Twitter, you know, I didn't say anything wrong on there, so I got to do like an appeal or something like that. I don't even know if I want to do the appeal. You know what I mean? But we'll see. We'll see. If you guys really want to hear my thoughts on Twitter, X, let me know in the comment down below. But yeah, I'm not really clamoring to get back anytime soon. Instagram, I guess I'll be using that then. The link is down below for that as well. So definitely check that out. But yeah, man, what a weekend, man. I will say this right off the top. This weekend here was great for professional wrestling as a whole. If you are a fan of the sport, of what you saw this weekend, you should have loved this weekend. We had fantastic wrestling on both nights. We had great wrestling on NXT. And I would say at least 3 out of the 6 matches were really, really awesome. Really awesome, in my opinion. And on AEW last night, pay-per-view was long as hell. Mia Scrum was long as I didn't even get to see the whole Mia Scrum. So basically, Tony Khan, right? He was there at the Mia Scrum at the beginning. He started off with Edge, Adam Copeland. It took like 30 minutes to start the Mia Scrum too, for one. But also, I fell asleep. I fell asleep close to maybe midnight. 12:30. We'll say that. I think it was 12:30. I wake up around 2 a.m. because I need to go to the restroom. I still had the Mia Scrum on. I just closed my eyes, fell asleep. I wake up. I still see Tony Khan answering questions. It was 2 a.m. It was 2 a.m. when he was answering questions. I'm like, oh my Jesus Christ, man! Like, so they were on Seattle's time. They're on the Pacific time, so it ended around midnight over there. But Jesus Christ, man! If you're somebody that covers this like me and you live on the East Coast, you would have went and it's your job, to do this. This is not my job to do this, but man, like it's crazy. It's crazy, to go sleep at 3 a.m. But yeah, again, we got a lot to talk about here today. As I mentioned from before, and we're gonna start off with the biggest news, obviously, of the weekend, possibly one of the biggest news stories of the year, until someone else debuts, maybe in another company. I'll talk about that in a little bit, possibly. Yeah, so we're gonna be starting off with Adam Copeland Edge, but before we do that, this lovely podcast that I do here is sponsored by my company that I have. It's called Spinebuster Tees, spinebustertees.com. The fall sale is up and running. You can use the code FALL10 for an extra 10% discount when you check out. And over $40, I was going to say $49. $40 gets you free shipping. Spinebuster Tees, spinebustertees.com, and like I mentioned, you have a whole array of designs on the website as well at spinebustertees.com. Adam Copeland, Edge. I always been a fan of Edge. I've been watching wrestling since 1992. My very first pay-per-view was the 1992 Royal Rumble. And, when Edge came in 1998, he had these vignettes of, like, this vigilante character, per se. And, I remember seeing the vignettes, and, you hear the famous words to the beginning of a song, "You think you know me." Like, so I always, and everyone, I was saying 99.9% of the world have seen Edge started in WWE. That's the first exposure to Edge was in WWE. We didn't see Sexton Hardcastle, right? We didn't see him, in the Canadian Indies at the time. We may have heard of it, but probably never seen it. We never actually, seen him, grow. So when Edge came in, fresh young face, and he was able to eventually get himself over, able to turn himself into the radar superstar, retire in 2011 after WrestleMania 27, comes back, several years ago at the Royal Rumble, one of the biggest moments of all time in WWE history, one of the biggest pops of all time. I will kind of say that last night, from what I saw, was possibly one of the biggest, it was definitely one of the biggest moments in AEW history. One of the big, I don't want to say the biggest moments in wrestling history because I don't want to sound too crazy, but it felt like one of the biggest moments in wrestling history because it was a WWE guy through and through. even more than Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels was in the AEWA before he came to the WWF. Undertaker was in WCW before he came to the WWF. Triple H was in WCW before he came to the WWF. And I'm talking about big companies, right? Now, I will say this. Edge did have some matches in WCW before he came to WWF, but he was more of a jobber. He was more of a enhancement talent. He wasn't a guy that was on every week. You know what I mean? Meet Mark Callis. We knew who Meet Mark Callis was. Well, probably not. Some of you may not. But we were aware of Meet Mark Callis in WCW. We were aware of Jean-Paul Levesque in WCW. We were aware of the Midnight Rockers in the AWA, former AWA Tag Team Champions with Mario Jannetty. So, Adam Copeland Edge is more of a WWE guy, if you think about it, than all of the other guys I just mentioned previously. Because WWE was the major company that he was in, and he was there for all of 25 years. You know, he retired in the middle, obviously, right? For obvious reasons. Don't fault him on that, but he was still a WWE guy. Didn't go to TNA. You know what I mean? Didn't go to Ring of Honor. Didn't go to Japan. So, the fact that he was there and he shows up in the AEW last night, to me, is one of the biggest moments ever in professional wrestling. And like I said, I've been watching wrestling for over 30 years. Over 30 years. Almost 35 years now at this point. Almost 35 years at this point. Closer to 35 than 30. Over 30. So, I want to read this from Adam Copeland, Edge. And it's going to be hard to just call him Adam Copeland. I'm just going to call him Edge. I mean, for at least for a while, because it's just, you know. But we know him as Adam Copeland, too, as well. Because he got his name over once he retired the first time in 2011. But I'm going to read this from Edge. This was posted on his Twitter and Instagram. And it sends out a great message. Because there's a lot of fanboys this morning on both sides of the fence that are just unreal. But we'll talk about it. We'll talk about that in a second. He says, as some of you may know now, I'm no longer with WWE. My new home is AEW. I'm excited. Whole new roster. Some familiar faces that I want to work with again, and a whole new set of first ever matches, new challenges. And if you ever follow my career, you know that what I've always been driven by. Sorry, this thing is, what is going on here? Okay, here we go. Got you back up here. But first and foremost, I want to address my 25 years with WWE. I love WWE and appreciate everything the company did for me. I always have, always will. They put me on the map, gave me amazing opportunities, and through hard work on both ends, I've been supplied with a wonderful life, WWE, sorry. WWE helped me meet the woman I start my family with. Sometimes relationships grow apart, and I feel the WWE and I have just outgrown each other. I'm gonna repeat that again. Sometimes relationships grow apart, and I feel the WWE and I have just outgrown each other. Read that one more time. Sometimes relationships grow apart, and I feel the WWE and I have just outgrown each other. There's nothing else left for him to do in WWE. There was nothing else for him to do left in WWE. He did everything. That's basically what he's saying. Continuing. I want to do more. They didn't have much more for me to do. There we go. Simple as that. And that's okay. I'll still be watching and still be supporting all my friends there. Beautiful. I don't buy into this odd mentality of one company or the other. It's weird. If you took offense to that, take a walk, get some fresh air, and soak up some sunshine. I can't say it any better than myself. Touch some grass, guys. It's pro wrestling at the end of the day. And he says it here. He says it's wrestling. It's an amazing gig. But still, it's wrestling. Relax. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun, guys. Remember that. And it's just a segment of the fans, not most fans, and definitely not the performers. Within the industry, we all know that more choices is better for everyone and pushes us to be better. As a wrestling fan, which I still am, it's exciting that there's viable companies providing wrestling on national and worldwide platforms. If you're actually a fan of wrestling and not acronyms, beautifully said, that should make you happy too. I guess what I'm trying to say is this. If you appreciate my work, you still can, no matter what the initials are. And because I'll still be busting my ass every time I'm out there, this ride isn't over just yet. Just try to have fun like it should be, because trust me, I'll be having fun every time I'm out there in an AEW ring. Let's go. I'm Copeland. And I am in the mentality of let the man be happy. He did everything he could in the WWE. Multiple time world champion, Mr. Money in the Bank, first ever Mr. Money in the Bank. Like, you know what I mean? You know, cashed in on John Cena the first time at New Year's Revolution 2006, right? Multiple time tag team champion, obviously with Christian, right? Intercontinental champion, and former world champion, former WWE champion, WrestleMania main events, multiple WrestleMania main events. He has done everything. Won the Royal Rumble twice. He has done everything. One of the GOATs. Definitely one of the GOATs. He has the accolades for it. I mean, me personally, like, I love Edge. I love Adam Copeland. Like it is, I watched him ever since I was freaking, 9 years old, right? Watched him ever since I was freaking 9 years old. I will say this. Me personally, I don't have, I probably have him maybe in my top 25. Maybe in my top 25. You know what I mean? Top 30 of all time. You know what I mean? Like, I always loved Edge, but, like, there's obviously my preferences is more. Like, I'm Shawn Michaels guy. You know what I mean? I live in San Antonio, Texas. I love the Macho Man Randy Savage, right? You can clearly see right there I have Macho Man stuff right here. I have more Macho Man stuff clearly right here as well. You know what I mean? And where's Shawn? Shawn's right here too as well. I have some Shawn stuff. But I will say that him going to AEW, there's some people that are saying, oh, like, guys, man, the people on Twitter is ridiculous. Saying that, oh, Edge is old. Why would AEW want him? Edge is almost 50 years old. Oh, I don't know, 2 months ago, he wasn't old, right? He was a legend, right? But now, ever since he goes to the company that you don't like, all of a sudden, you don't like him no more. He's old now, right? It's not a legend no more. He's old now. He's almost 50. Like, it's just people calling him a traitor. People calling him washed. Oh, he's washed all of a sudden now. Now, the same people that are saying, like, oh, WWE is a whole bunch of old talent, and we'd like to build up our young guys over here in AEW. Now, Edge is in AEW now, and now they like Edge. They like Edge all of a sudden now just because they're in their company. Stop it with the tribalism. It's unhealthy. I don't get it. There's people, like, I mean, not people, but this genre of wrestling has the worst tribalism in all media, in my opinion. It is terrible. Terrible. And the fact that Adam knew that, and he has to say it to us, and he has to say, like, hey, the talent support each other. Why don't you guys? And he said, he says most fans are good. He's talking about the casuals because we are, believe it or not, guys, we are, if you're watching this podcast right now, if you're listening to this podcast on Spotify or whatever, or wherever you're hearing this at, we are the minority. We are. It's just the way that it is, what it is. And I really learned that with my shop because I get casual fans that come in that hasn't heard anything about, like I had this guy that came in, yesterday actually, and he was all like, "Oh man, did you hear about Riddle getting fired?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's been a week already, bro." But he says that he says that he watches every week, but he doesn't do the online stuff. He doesn't do the Twitter. He doesn't do the Instagrams and things of that nature. Like as far as with following wrestling. So he doesn't follow any wrestling news. So the fact that Edge is saying, basically us saying like, "Hey, you guys need to chill out. You guys, it's supposed to be fun. It's pro wrestling." It's very, very refreshing. And he's basically also saying as well, it's not about acronyms. It doesn't matter what the letters are. It doesn't, because he's coming over as the radar superstar Edge, but just the radar superstar Adam Copeland. It seems like he's going to be Edge in AEW with a TV-14 rating, with to say fucking shit sometimes, and have adult language. That is totally fine. If you don't like that, get out. You're not a wrestling fan. You're not. You're not a real true wrestling fan. You're not. You know what I mean? The WWE elitists, you're just a WWE fan. You're not a wrestling fan. You're just not. Now I'm just gonna call it what it is. You're not a wrestling fan. You're a WWE guy. And that's fine if you are. But don't cry. Don't sit there and cry and be like, oh, poor me. I lost Adam Copeland. Or they're not even going to call him Adam Copeland. Oh, I lost Edge to the enemy AEW. Oh, but we got Jade Cargill. Stop it. You ain't like Jade Cargill 3 weeks ago. You probably didn't even know who she was 3 weeks ago. All of a sudden, she's your favorite women's wrestler on the roster who hasn't even debuted yet. I love Jade too, but I'm just saying, like, be fair. Be fair and balanced. If you love pro wrestling, you should love this. He had nothing else left to do. He's 50 years old, just about. He doesn't have more left in the tank. I mean, he does, but like the tank is running out, I should say. It's almost going on empty. Even though I think he could probably go for another 5 years. The tank is running empty on his career. He wants to end his career with fulfillment. He wants to wrestle guys like MJF. He wants to wrestle guys like Kenny Omega, who he said in the media scrum, "Hey, I just met Kenny Omega the first time about 10 minutes ago. Like, I never met Kenny Omega before." He never stood in the ring with Sting before. He never had a match with Jon Moxley or Claudio Castagnoli. He wants to have matches with those guys, and he said that. He never stood in the ring with Darby Allin. So it's a great thing that he is able to get a new platform to show off his craft. So I'm very happy for Edge, man. I really am. And let him do what he does. We're gonna talk about a little bit more about the Mia scrum and what was said and all that there. But first, let's talk about the debut itself. And I don't even know if we're going to really be reviewing the full shows in full. I'll probably just be going results because I got 14 matches to talk about on AEW last night. And I got 7 to talk about on NXT. So, and we still got to go over NXT as well. And I do have a few news stories as well. So we'll see if time permits. But Adam Copeland last night debuted at WrestleDream, and the way he debuted was just spot on. It was perfect. It was cinematic. It was everything that you could ask for and more. So Christian ended up being Darby Allin with the help of Nick Wayne. and with Nick Wayne's mom at ringside. By the way, Nick Wayne's mom, let me just say this. The milk is still fresh. The milk is still fresh. If you know what I'm saying. I'm just saying. Shoot your shot. You know what I mean? Everyone can be a stepdaddy every now and then. You know what I mean? But anyway. Christian ends up defeating Darby Allin. 2 out of 3 falls match. Fantastic match. And, you see the beat down Darby Allin. Sting comes out. Sting gets beat down by Nick Wayne and Christian. And also Luchasaurus is out there too as well. So, Christian got 2 chairs. And he was going to give Sting a concerto. Then all of a sudden, lights go out. As soon as lights go out, we already knew what was happening. They did like a feature presentation, like a 70s feature presentation from back in the day. If you watch a lot of Grindhouse films, or a lot of films from the 70s, you guys know what I'm talking about. And all you see was this guy being shot from behind him in a leather jacket. Gets in a, I don't know what kind of car it was, but it was like a, like 70s, muscle car, American muscle car, right? And they were driving in, I guess, like in a neighborhood in Seattle. And you see like fireworks being blown up at the Mariner Stadium, which Adam Copeland confirmed in the Mia Scrum. And all of a sudden, he steps out of the car. All you see is his feet. Then all you hear was, "You think you know me?" And I will say this on the "You think you know me." Now that I learned that was possibly Beth Phoenix that did that, okay, that's cool. If his wife is a part of his AEW run in some fashion, but it was shitty. It's gonna take some time to grow on me, but we've been hearing that "You think you know me" for 25 plus years. If you've been watching wrestling as long as I have, 25 plus years. So it's like, it's kind of all playing like, oh my God. But the next thing that we heard Metalingus. We heard his trademark theme song. We didn't get a brand new song. We didn't get a new Ultra Bridge song or anything. We heard Metalingus. And apparently, WWE licensed it, but they didn't exclusively license it. And also, Adam Copeland said this in the press conference as well, or in the Mia Scrum, that anywhere that he goes, that song will go with him because he's very good friends with Alter Bridge, and he's very good friends, with the songwriter in Alter Bridge as well. So he stated that wherever that song goes, he goes. You know what I mean, or vice versa, wherever he goes, that song goes. And so the fact that we're getting the Rated R Superstar, and also as well the Rated R Superstar, apparently it seems like you cannot fully trademark Rated R Superstar, and I should have known this as well. I could have mentioned this to you guys too. I have a shirt that I've gotten in the Pro Wrestling Crate that I I knew it was Edge, but I was like, I didn't really like the colors on the shirt, so I have it at my shop, to sell for sale. I think I sold it already, but regardless, it says Rated R Superstar on it, and this was like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, but we know when he was retired. And so the fact that I got that shirt and it said Rated R Superstar on it, that told me, and I should have mentioned this last week, that Rated R Superstar is not fully trademarked by WWE, or couldn't be fully trademarked by WWE. So Edge comes out to the ring with Metalingus. He just did his full WWE entrance. From running from one side of the stage to the other, to the smoke, to the pyro, doing that as well. It was utterly surreal, amazing, one of the best moments of the year. Obviously, one of the best debuts ever of all time. One of the best crossover debuts ever. It's up there with Scott Hall and the original NWO promo. It's up there with Sting. Sting's debut in WWE. It was surreal as well. Goldberg's debut in WWE in 2003 to Spear the Rock. Chris Jericho's debut in 1999. This is up there. And the fact of the matter is that I didn't think I was ever going to see anything like this. We knew that people were going to cross over from AEW to WWE and WWE to AEW. But I really thought that, at least if you were to ask me at the beginning of this year, would Edge go to AEW? Probably not. You know what I mean? Most likely not. He's a WWE lifer, right? That's always been our mentality. He's a WWE lifer. But at this point, never say never. Never say never on debuts. Never say never on what can and cannot happen in this industry. And after watching for as long as I have, I should learn that. But again, I'm remain to be shocked at times. And not say, I wasn't shocked that he debuted because of the fact that, I've been reporting on this for, at least the last all last week pretty much, that Edge was debuting in AEW. I was pretty much, reporting on that, you know what I mean? But it's just amazing. It's just an amazing debut that he did there. And so he comes out and comes down to the ring and, he grabs a chair from Christian, right? Because he was going to concerto Sting. So Edge is gonna, fake do the concerto on Sting. Then he hits Nick Wayne in the back, who had tape ribs from his match earlier in the night with the Luchasaurus. Hits Luchasaurus with the chair as well. Then all you see is Christian roll the ring, and you see Darby Allin extend his hand like, "Thank you for helping me," and it's like, "Welcome aboard." They shake hands. And Sting and Edge shake hands, and that was it. That was the debut. That was the debut. And again, to me it's one of the best debuts ever in professional wrestling history. Like it's just up there. Been watching wrestling for for as long as I have, over 30 years. Been watching professional wrestling. It's one of the best debuts I've ever seen in my life. It's just fantastic. Just the packaging, the presentation, just is Edge and AEW, and we're up for a wild ride, ladies and gentlemen. We're up for a wild ride, and it's really great to see. So after the debut, we have the media scrum, and we're gonna talk about that real quick as far as what he said. We're gonna go over the notes of the media scrum itself. We're not gonna go over every single little thing of it here as far as what Edge said. But I want to go over some takeaways here. So, he's going to be full-time in AEW. This is the first thing I want to talk about. He said that he's going to be full-time in AEW. He's going to be there every week. And he says he's going to be appearing on Dynamite and Collision this week coming up. So, let's talk about that there. Edge being there every week tells me, we don't know the details of his contract as of yet, and I'm trying to see if there's any new news has came out since we've been live. I haven't seen anything as of yet. No, I haven't seen anything as of yet. But I will say this: if Edge is gonna be there every week, according to him. To me, this is going to be a 1-year gig. In my opinion. I don't know for sure. I don't know. To me, I feel like it's going to be a 1-year gig. Because I feel that he wants to wrestle, not every week, but he wants to wrestle majority of those dates. And he wants to get all these matches that he wants to do. He wants to wrestle Kenny Omega. He wants to wrestle with Sting and maybe Darby Allin. I think that's where we're probably going to get as his first big match. A 6-man tag with Darby Allin, Sting, and Edge versus Christian, Nick Wayne, and Luchasaurus. I think that's what we get. But he wants to wrestle all these guys that he's never wrestled before. He wants to wrestle again. Him and Bryan Danielson again. That'll be great. Him and MJF, right? That possibly we may get Edge and Christian versus the Hardy Boys. Like, it's inevitable that we may get that. You know what I mean? It may not be a fantastic match. It may not be great. But I would like to see it one more time. You know what I mean? So, I think personally that it's a 1-year contract. If he's going to be there every week, He wasn't doing that in WWE. If he's going to be there every weekend, wrestling for a lot of those weeks, possibly on Dynamite and Collision, or one or the other, I foresee this to be a 1-year contract. I may be wrong, but I foresee this to be a 1-year contract. And they're going to use everything that they can with Adam in this 1-year contract. Just my opinion. Again, I don't have any sources, don't have any news, just my opinion. It's just what I feel. We'll see. He's also stated that he is going to be, and it was announced that by Tony Khan, that the first match for Adam Copeland in AEW will be himself versus Luchasaurus for October 10th. Good match. This is a very good first match for Adam Copeland. He goes up a brand new guy who's never wrestled before, ever. And also on top of that as well, he's going to pop a rating. He's going to help pop a rating. And he's going to be on Tuesday night Dynamite. Because we're in baseball season. We're in baseball playoff season. And it looks like TBS has to do a playoff game during that time slot on Wednesday. So we're going to get Adam Copeland versus Luchasaurus on Tuesday, October 10th, against NXT. I wonder who WWE is going to send down there to NXT to compete against Adam Copeland. It doesn't matter who it's going to be, because they're not going to, whatever they're doing, it's not going to draw that rating that AEW is going to do. It's just not. You know what I mean? And I'm going to give my NXT praises a little bit later on here on the podcast, because they had a fantastic pay-per-view on Saturday. But wherever they do, it's not going to compete with Edge being his first match outside of WWE. Like, it's just not. So he's going to be faced off against Luchasaurus on October 10th. So that's that. I mean that's the Edge news, guys. And I mean, there's a lot more to talk about. Obviously, I only got 55 minutes left here in the podcast. I'm gonna wait for more news to break today, because I'm sure enough that news is gonna be breaking today about this here. More notes and details, not breaking news, but just more notes and details, and also as well, Adam Copeland, he filed a trademark Cope, Legend, the Rogue. So apparently he filed trademarks for that. So it's I mean, he wants to file his trademarks, great. That's fantastic. But Edge, the Radar Superstar, is here, man, and he's still known as the Radar Superstar, Adam Copeland. But overall, guys, we're gonna go over WrestleDream. WrestleDream was last night in Seattle, Washington, from the Climate Pledge Arena. I want to say this right off the bat. This show was super effing long. It was super effing long. I will say, I think 4 out of the 5 last matches, were over 20 minutes. 4 out of the 5 last matches. I was like 5. No, I'm sorry, not 4 out of the 5. 5 out of the 6. 5 out of 6 last matches was over 20 minutes. One went 25, the main event. Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. went 22:45. Don Callis family versus Chris Jericho and the Golden Elite, 22:35. So this show, and as always, was long. Not to say it was a bad show. It was a great show. Don't get me wrong. But I will say this. There were some things that dragged in the middle a little bit. Some things I didn't really care about. We'll be skimming over those as well. But I want to give NXT some flowers real quick. I thought NXT overall, to me, from start to finish, was the more digestible show. Especially with the 2 main events at the very end. if you were to tell me that AEW had the best match of the weekend, I would not disagree with you. Me personally, I will say that NXT had the better match over the weekend. The best match of the weekend. And that's with Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes for the NXT Championship. But if you were to tell me, Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. was the best match of the weekend, I'm not going to argue that because that was a phenomenal match. I loved everything about that match too. So let's go over the show real quick. We're going to, go over the results here and we'll talk about some of the things here on some of the key matches. We had the opening for 0 Hour, 8-person mixed tag team match. We had Athena, Billy Starks, Keith Lee, and Satoshi Kojima. They defeated the Shane Taylor Promotions of Lee Moriarty and Shane Taylor, Diamante, and Mercedes Martinez. Claudio Castagnoli with John Moxley on commentary, which was acquired taste, I will say that. There were some things I liked about it, some things I didn't really like about it, but it was definitely acquired taste. He defeated Josh Barnett, and Josh Barnett put him over in a promo afterwards, so which is pretty cool. But they said that, hey, they may meet again soon. Luchasaurus defeated Nick Wayne by pinfall. It was only a 5-minute match, but did what we need to do there. We had the Acclaimed defeating the Mighty Don't Kneel. We had Slapjack, Shane Hayes, Mickey Nichols, if you remember TM61 from NXT back in the day, and Bad Dude Tito. So they lost to the Acclaim and this is for the AEW World Trios Championships, 6-man tag. That was the pre-show. We're going to open the show with MJF versus The Righteous. 2-on-1 handicap match for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship. MJF won. Say that right off the bat. Of course he won. Well, otherwise, we would have been talking about other things here. But I will say this. It is kind of silly that MJF beat The Righteous clean. A little silly. I get that he's the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. I get it. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. I get it. But in a kayfabe sense, it should be more of, hey, we are two guys. We are a tag team. We know how to do tag team wrestling. We should know how to take out one person. But, MJF won. I'm not going to cry over it. I would have thought that we would have saw the Devil come out and try to help MJF win. But after seeing what they said on commentary, I think that AEW, and I also think in kayfabe, this faction wants you to think that MJF is under the Devil mask, even though we know that it's not MJF. We know it's someone else, but they want you to think that MJF is under the Devil mask. So they don't want to see the guy in the Devil mask and MJF in the same spot. I hope that's where they're going, so they can kind of drag this story out for a little bit. I hope that's where they're going. But MJF winning here, he was trying to get over a scoop slam, a body slam on Dutch, and he did get the body slam on Dutch. But he does end up winning with his feet on the ropes. So, the match overall did what it needed to do. It was a 2-on-1 handicap match. How good can it really be? But, MJF still walks out one half of the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship along with Adam Cole. His reign is still continue. We got Eddie Kingston versus Katsuyori, Shibata. And he defeats Shibata, Eddie Kingston. This is for the Ring of Honor Championship and the Strong Openweight Championship. So 2 titles on the line. Very hard-hitting match. I love Shibata. I think he's underrated. I think American fans should really try to look at his Japanese stuff. He is a hard hitter. Don't really have much else to say about this match. It was a good match. Not really much to go into detail about it. And Kingston gets the win. Chris Statlander versus Julia Hart for the TBS Championship. Julia Hart, her presentation is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Love her presentation. Chris Statlander. I'm always fond of Chris Statlander as well. Not a huge, I won't say I'm the biggest fan of her, but I like her. I do like Chris Statlander. These women put on a fairly decent match. Best match of Julia Hart's career. Chris Statlander looked good here as well. Chris Statlander got the early offense on Julia Hart. Julia Hart Eventually, came back. She did a moonsault, which was a near two fall, and Chris Statlander hit the Sunday Night Fever for the win after a tombstone. Sunday Night Fever is a little bit different from our tombstone, but regardless, Chris Statlander with the win. Julia Hart looked very well in this match, and she improved tremendously. I can only imagine Julia Hart in an NXT system and how much more she will improve. But maybe one day, because again, as I mentioned on Friday, if she's gonna be marrying Lee Johnson, Shia Lee Johnson, right? Big Shia Lee, and Lee Johnson is part of the Nightmare Factory. If Lee Johnson, I don't know when his contract's up, but if Lee Johnson ends up going to WWE NXT, Julia Hart's coming with him, and that'll be tremendous for both. But as of right now, Julia Hart's doing some great things on AEW TV, so I can't complain about that either. So, but she does lose here. Her winning streak is over. Chris Statlander picks up the win. Fatal 4-way match for the AEW, or future chance for the AEW Tag Team Championship. It's a number one contenders match, basically. We have the Lucha Bros versus the Guns versus Orange Cassidy and Hook versus the Young Bucks, and the Young Bucks pick up the win here. I will say this. I wish the Guns would have won. I don't understand why we need to have another Young Bucks versus FTR Part 4. This soon, at least. Young Bucks, one of the best tag teams in the world. Not taking anything against them. Not taking anything away against FTR as well. I have been a FTR Revival, the Mechanics fan, ever since they started together in NXT. So this has nothing against them. Not saying that I hate the Young Bucks. Not necessarily a fan either, but I really appreciate what they do. I know that they're good. I know that they're great. I know that they are one of the best tag teams in the world. Definitely know that. I'm not gonna take anything away from that. I'm not gonna have this fake blind rage to Nick and Matt Jackson just because that I'm not a big fan of them. But I will say this: they are one of the best tag teams in the world. That's just is what it is. But I didn't think I wanted to see this match again anytime soon with FTR and the Young Bucks. Should have gave it to the Guns here. We're not going to see the Guns versus FTR again anytime soon. But Ray Phoenix was taken out of this match early because he's pretty much really banged up right now. So they kayfabe him, took him out. But this match wasn't anything great. It was good. It was good. There's no way you can have eight talented guys like this in the ring with each other and not have it be a good match. It was a good match. It wasn't anything that was breathtaking. But the Young Bucks pick up the win. One match here that was, I will say, a little bit breathtaking was Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Adam Page. Singles match. Biggest match of Swerve's career. And I will say this, Swerve, I will say by the end of this year, possibly, because we're in October now, technically, or early 2024, is in contention for a AEW world title shot. He has to be, if he keeps up this momentum. I would love to see him get a international championship reign. I would love for him to get a TNT title reign. Swerve Strickland is money. And the fact that WWE let him go, not on Triple H's end, not his administration's end, but on the administration of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. God damn it. I will say that they definitely made a mistake letting him go. Hit Row probably wasn't going to get over, but letting go Swerve Strickland was a mistake. But, it happens. And he went to, now he's in AEW now. Now he's doing great things in AEW with this character. Great match. They did a spot here where Strickland, did like an arm break. It sounded like he broke his arm, but he really didn't. And, they were going to take Hangman out of the ring, and Strickland just did a freaking just nasty double stomp to Hangman on Page as Hangman was on the side of the ring, on the hardest part of the ring as they call it, and just annihilate him. But Swerve ends up picking up the win here. Great match. Swerve needed a big win like this on pay-per-view. This shows that they are putting stock into Swerve. And, maybe the Mogul Embassy itself is not really over per se as a group, but Swerve is, and Prince Nana is as well. The dance is phenomenal. It's great. You know what I mean? He's like me. He's like me if I was out there, pretty much. So biggest win to me of Swerve's career so far. And we'll see where this goes. Are we gonna see this ran back? Possibly. And just in wrestling in general, just not in AEW or anything like that, but just wrestling in general, that this may end up being 50-50 booking. If it happens, it happens, but I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that he should go up against Adam Page again and beat him again to continue his stock to go up. But what do I know? Ricky Starks versus Ryu Yuta. Honestly, I don't think this match should have been on pay-per-view. I don't think this match should have been on WrestleDream at all. This could have been a match for Dynamite or I'm sorry, not Rampage, but Collision for that matter. Ricky Starks pick up the win. I mean, does this win give him momentum? To me, not really. Yes, really, but not really. You know what I mean? Like, in theory, it does give him momentum, but, like, in reality, I don't think it really does give him momentum. And I love Ricky Starks as well. But I'm just calling it is what it is. It's like, this match really had no heat going into the show. I mean, it was just because, like, Ricky Starks has a little bit beef with the Blackpool Combat Club because of Bryan Danielson. So, I don't know. I don't really think this is really giving Ricky Starks much momentum. This match could have been easily done on Collision. But at the same time, I would have been complaining Ricky Starks wouldn't have been on pay-per-view either. So what do I know? I would have been complaining some sort. Like, where's Ricky? You don't have time for Ricky Starks on this show? All right. What I will say was match of the night, along with the main event. Those two they go back and forth. Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. Let me say this. Zack Sabre Jr., I definitely appreciate 100%. There are people out there saying, hey, I don't really like Zack Sabre Jr., right? His wrestling's not for me. And that's cool. That's fine. If it's not for you, that's totally fine. But if you watched this match last night and you saw everything that was done in this match between both men, I don't want to hear ever again that Zack Sabre Jr. is not a good professional wrestler. Because that's simply not true. You may not like his style of wrestling. You may not get into his character, because his character's not great either. You know what I mean? He's not really great on the mic. He doesn't ooze charisma, right? Definitely understand it. But if you tell me that Zack Sabre Jr. is not good, he sucks in the ring, or he just sucks overall, that's simply not true. That's 100% not true. Bryan Danielson, he's on his farewell tour, as he says. He is fucking amazing. This match here was fucking amazing. If you want to see, and this felt like, to me, this felt like an actual fight. This felt like an actual competition between the two. With the lockups and tie-ups and counters and reversals and leg locks and Indian deathlocks and Mexican surfboards and just everything that we saw here was utterly amazing. Utterly amazing. Utterly amazing. Like, it's just the counters and reversals, and it ended up, starting to pick up a little bit with more modern stuff and with suplexes and, penalty kicks and, psycho knees and all that stuff. It was a phenomenal match. I can't even put it justice. I can't go by move. I just can't. There's no way for me to sit here and talk to you about, and I'm be saying that too about Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov. There's no way for me to sit here and tell you, move for move on this match here. There's no way for me to tell you that and give it justice. You got to go out and see it yourself. You got to go out and see it yourself. 100%. 100%. You got to go out and see it yourself. Phenomenal match. Match of the year candidate. Me personally, I think that's probably AEW's best match of the year. Even more than Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. And I love that match. I love that match. Right now, if the year were to end it, this would be a top 5 match of the year for me. Maybe top 3. Because there's no way you cannot put Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay in top 5 as well. Just a phenomenal wrestling match. Everything that they did in here was just great. You gotta go out and see it. 22 minutes and 45 seconds. It didn't overstay its welcome. You just gotta give respect to it. Again, I'm more of a cruiserweight guy. I love cruiserweight wrestling. I love the high flying stuff. I also love technical wrestling as well, like the Benoit. We won't say Benoit. It's vacant. Kurt Angle, Bret Hart to a certain extent. I love those matches. This match was phenomenal. You gotta go out of your way and watch it. Yeah, if you love pro wrestling, if you're just a WWE fan, like, okay, this is not for you. All right, if you're just a WWE fan, this is not for you because you are a WWE fan, right? You don't love pro wrestling, so phenomenal match. Another really good match, and honestly, it's kind of unfair for me to say that I was kind of getting a little tired here and wasn't as excited. But when you have a great match like this and you go to another fairly good match of the Don Callis family, Konosuke Takeshita, Sammy Guevara, and Will Ospreay versus the Golden Elite of Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi and Chris Jericho, this was a really good match. But I was starting to feel a little tired here, and I was feeling a little bit fatigued by this show because of the fact that all the last 4 matches all went over 20 minutes. So I was feeling very fatigued here. Very good match. We see the Don Callis family pick up the win here. And I don't really have much to say about this match. I'll be honest. I don't really have much to say about this match. Not saying I was checked out. It was a good match, right? But there's really nothing that really stood out to me as phenomenal as the last match. And you had guys like Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi and Will Ospreay and Takeshita, like all these great, world-class pro wrestlers, some of the best in the world. That's an issue when how great that last match was. When I feel meh about Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, Takeshita, Chris Jericho, Kota Ibushi, Sammy Guevara match. Like, it's nuts. But it was a good match. They're going to continue the story that Don Callis has the one up on Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega still cannot get a big win without Don Callis. I like how they're still continuing that. And it's going to have to come ahead soon. Well, I don't know how soon. But good match. Great match, I will say. Even the slightly great match. But I won't say I didn't care. I was just... I can't even put into words, but I was burnt out. I guess that's the best way to say it. I was getting burnt out. And speaking of burnt out, FTR versus Aussie Open, 20 minutes and 25 seconds. I didn't think they had to go this long, but it was a really good match still. Mark Davis could have broke his forearm in this match, but FTR does win with a Super Shatter Machine. I have nothing to say. I didn't think. I thought Aussie Open had a slight chance to win. I thought Aussie Open had more of a chance of winning than what people led on to be, than what we thought it was going to be. But they didn't win. You know what I mean? They didn't win. FTR wins, which I think was the right choice at the end of the day. And, we're going to get FTR versus the Young Bucks again. I will say very soon. We'll see. You know what I mean? We'll see how soon. We'll see how soon that they'll, that they will actually have their match. But maybe in Los Angeles, because I think they're gonna have they're gonna have a full gear in Los Angeles, so that will probably be the time that we'll see that match. So you gotta get that victory on pay-per-view, right, in your hometown. So I don't know. We'll see where that goes. We'll see how that ends up being, but as of right now, as of right now, we'll end up seeing that match again. Again, I don't know like how it's gonna come off, but we'll see. We'll see. We have our main event: Christian Cage, Darby Allin, 2 out of 3 falls match. I'm not gonna cover the Edge stuff because I already talked about it already in nauseum. If you want to watch it, go check out the beginning of the podcast here, or rewind. But this match by itself, if Edge never came out, this still would have been a phenomenal match. You know what I mean? My second best match of the night. My second best match of the night. So just a lot of spots here. Darby Allin, man, I will say probably one of the most sick spots I ever saw in my life. So there was a spot in this match where Christian had steel steps on the outside, like where you had the steps going up, near the entranceway. And it was a good, I'm going to say about almost 7 feet, 6 feet, we'll say, from the edge of the ring. Christian had him up in a front suplex position, like a Gort Buster. Christian threw Darby Allin. Well, first he went down and he threw Darby, like he went down on the floor and threw Darby Allin the steps like in the Gort Buster position. Then he went up to the ring apron because Darby was probably saying to him like, no, we're going to fucking do this spot. And threw him on the ring steps from the ring apron. I tell you, this is one of the most cringe, sick spots I've ever seen. Darby is a fucking madman. I love Darby Allin, but Jesus Christ, man, you gotta chill out, man. I don't want to see you in a wheelchair. I don't want to see you retired by the age of 34 years old, man. I don't want to see you retired by the age of 34. You know what I mean? He's 30 right now, so he's gonna be 31 in January. So I don't want to see this guy retired so soon. But man, just him taking the spots, what he wants to do, and how he just basically just tore his body up into pieces was amazing. But Nick Wayne ended up coming out, and I mentioned earlier that Nick Wayne hit Darby Allin in the face with the TNT title belt, just clobbered him, and Christian got the 1-2-3 pinfall over Darby Allin in a fantastic main event, 2 out of 3 falls. Darby got the first fall, Christian got the second fall, and Christian got the third fall there. So amazing match. It was such a spectacle of event, a spectacle at the end with Adam Copeland coming out Edge. Again, if you're listening to this here live on YouTube, rewind, go back, check it out. I gave like the first 45 minutes of the podcast talking about that, and I spent an hour on this here as well. So, but that was AEW's WrestleDream. If I had to give a rating out of 10, I'll have to give it an 8.5 out of 10. It was a fantastic show, really great, really good, really good. Like it's amazing. It's amazing. So, all right, moving on. We're almost done with the AEW talk. Well, we're done with the AEW talk for the most part, but I do want to go over this here real quick. This is from the media scrum, and this is on Jay Cargill. Tony Khan was asked at the media scrum about Jay Cargill going from AEW to WWE. He states that he didn't see it coming. She was made. He says that he made Jade a very fair offer. Then she asked for more. He proceeds to raise his offer. She turned that down. Says it surprised him that that offer was more than she originally asked for. It's because Jay wanted to be in WWE. Period. She has no ill will towards AEW, at least to what I think. She has no ill will towards AEW, but she knows where she wants to be. She wants to become a bigger star than what she was. She had a ceiling on her at AEW. She just wanted to go to WWE. Can't fault her for it. A lot of people are saying this weekend that the trade of Jade Cargill and Edge, Jade to WWE, Edge to AEW. I would like to say it was Jade Cargill and Brian Pillman Jr. to AEW. I'm sorry, to WWE for Edge. That's just me. But apparently, she was offered more money than she really asked for. But at the end of the day, she decided to go to WWE. Can't blame her for it. She's gonna be a huge star in WWE at the end of the day. So it is what it is. But good for Jade Cargill. Good for Adam Copeland. It's great for professional wrestling as fans. NXT. I'm not going to go over. I am going to go over the whole NXT card, but I'm not going to go over all the details of the matches, except for the last two matches. You had your NXT pre-show match. Blair Davenport versus Kalani Jordan. Blair Davenport defeats Kalani Jordan. Your opening match. Braun Breaker versus Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin defeats Braun Breaker with the help of Mr. Stone. I thought we were going to see Vakali. I thought we were gonna see Von Wagner come out, but no, we didn't get it. I was very sad actually. Then we get to see Von Khali, but Baron Corbin picks up the win, and maybe this is probably gonna lead to Braun Breaker versus Von Wagner. Loser leaves town match. I can see that happening. We'll see. Singles match for the North American Championship, NXT North American Championship. Dragon Lee as a special guest referee. We got Dirty Dom Mysterio versus Trick Williams. Trick Williams picks up the win. I won't say I was shocked, but I was surprised. I thought they were going to keep the title on Dom, but at the end of the show, I see where it's going. And there's something that I do. At first, I had to sleep on it. On Saturday night to Sunday night, but I'm going to agree with this, and the guy's going to tell you why. There's people out there saying, like, oh, I don't understand why, Melo may end up be turned to heel in this storyline. I'm going to tell you guys why, and you guys are going to possibly love it. We'll see. I don't know, but we'll see. The family of Tony D'Angelo, I don't know why I forgot. Tony D'Angelo, my paisan, and Stacks Lorenzo versus Out the Mud, Lucian Price and Bronco Nima, who was there with Scripps, who turned black again. Good for the brother. Versus the Creed brothers, Julius and Brutus Creed. Avi Nine was there versus Los Lotharios. Fatal 4-way tag team match for the NXT Tag Team Championship. The family does win. They did a injury angle here in this match that D'Angelo hurt his knee. His surgically repaired knee comes. He ends up coming back. It was all kayfabe. It was obvious. If the referee doesn't throw up the X, it's kayfabe. For the most part, it's kayfabe, right? But if he didn't throw up the X, so it was just an angle. It was clear. It was clear cut as day. Julius Creed, love him. Has a lot of high upside. I love the Creed brothers. Brutus Creed, he should not be doing a freaking springboard Brutus cannonball onto the outside at 285 pounds. He shouldn't be doing that, but he did it. Los Lotharios, Angel Garza, Humberto Carrillo, they always been great. I'm glad that they're getting a second lease of life here in NXT. Let's talk about Out the Mud for a second. Lucian Price and Bronco Nima. I stated on Thursday when I did the preview to the show that this match here is kind of gonna have me, because I was in the middle on them. It's gonna kind of have me lead this way with them, as in, hey, they still need work, or is it gonna lead me this way with them, as in, okay, I like these guys. I'm more from the middle, from the left, or this is the right on your side, but from the left to the right, I am right there. It's still a little in the middle, but a little bit right there. These guys, they have something. They have a little something. I gotta see more of them though. They have a look. It's a little bit stereotypical. They have a look though, and with a little bit of seasoning, 10 and 11 care, they'll get better. And, who knows? They may be in contention for the NXT Tag Team Championships in 2024. So we'll see with them. But the family does win here. The Creed brothers are fucking awesome. I love these guys. They're possibly one of my favorite tag teams in wrestling right now. They're like one of my top three favorite tag teams in wrestling right now. They are phenomenal. And I don't think they get the credit that they deserve. They are great. They're ready for a main roster run. I just think honestly, I think that they need to spice up the character work a little bit. You know what I mean? A little spice up a little bit. And they've been trying new things with them as well. But spice up a little bit, appeal a little bit more to, spice up their attire too as well, I think. Because, if I'm a wrestler, I'm going to have the most outlandish attire out there. Why? So that way I can sell freaking action figures. That way I can have Funko Pops made of me. They need to start thinking about it because they are going to go up to the main roster. They need to start thinking about, how their look is going to be, how they're going to appeal to the casual audience, and how they're going to be able to monetize more than just the in-ring stuff. So if they spice up the character just a little bit, not go overboard, spice up the character just a little bit better attire, a little bit more funky attire with crazy designs on there, kind of like the Steiner Brothers, right? Kind of like what Braun Breaker is doing, right? But with their own style, I think they'll be in a great position. But the family does pick up the win here, and they're still your NXT Tag Team Champions. Noam Dar versus Butch, British Rounds rules for the NXT Heritage Cup. I thought this was a good match. Not great. I understand that the Heritage Cup and the British Round rules is not for everybody. Totally get it. Totally understand it. But I will say that this match here was damn good. Noam Dar is great. Pete Dunne, Butch is great. It allows you to do different things with the round system where the heel either he picks up a speaking of I can't even get my fucking words out. Speaking of cheating and all that, Noam Dar at the end of the first round just laid the hell out Pete Dunne. That was great. That was good shit. But a lot of back and forth here. Noam Dar does pick up the win here. And he does and still is your Heritage Cup champion. Let's talk about the match of the night. To me, this is match of the weekend. This is one of my top, I will say as of right now, is this WWE's match of the year? If you would have told me this is WWE's match of the year, I'm not going to kill you over it. I probably need to watch both these matches back to back again. But as of right now, this match, Ilya Dragunov versus Carmelo Hayes for the NXT Championship, is this WWE's match of the year? I'm going to say second, behind the Triple Threat Intercontinental Championship match at WrestleMania Night 1. Amazing match. Carmelo, great champion. He got pulverized in this match by Ilya Dragunov. Dragunov, I don't understand why Dragunov is not in conversations as one of the best wrestlers in the world. I don't understand it. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. He's spectacular at what he does. Everything that he does in the ring makes the match better on whoever he goes up against. Ilya Dragunov is spectacular. Always been a fan of his ever since he was over there, I think like WXW, and he was in Progress for a little bit as well, when he was getting DDT by Eddie Kingston, and Eddie Kingston cut that infamous promo on him and on WWE and AEW. Ilya Dragunov is spectacular. And the fact of the matter is that he's not getting as much respect as he should is an utter crime. I don't understand why he was like 135 in the PWI top 500. He is a top 25 wrestler in the world, period. If you were to tell me that Ilya Dragunov is the best wrestler in the world, I'm not going to argue that. Amazing match. Just hard-hitting strikes and chops and machine gun. Sometimes those machine gun chops look looks stupid, right? You know what I mean? Because it looks like they barely hurt. Like when Samoa Joe does it, I'm sure it still hurts, but it sounds like a regular chop every time when he was doing. I can't even do it. You know what I mean? But he was beating the holy hell out of Carmelo Hayes. And Carmelo Hayes brought it back too as well. Carmelo Hayes did a lot of good stuff in his match too as well. He showed why he was the NXT champion for as long as he has and why he's on the very high totem pole as far as NXT in-ring wrestlers. You know, doing fadeaway DDTs and bulldogs and just, you know, fighting reckless. But amazing match. Definitely match of the weekend for me personally. It's my match of the weekend. But if you were to tell me that I put in my top 5 matches of the year, 2 matches came out of this weekend alone, I'm more than happy with that. Because Zack Sabre Jr. and Bryan Danielson, as I talked about earlier, was fantastic. But Ilya Dragunov picks up the win and becomes the new NXT champion. I thought Carmelo Hayes was going to win. I thought it was going to be reversed. I thought that Trick Williams was going to lose and Carmelo Hayes was going to win and have Trick Williams starts to do a heel turn. It looks like we're going to get Carmelo Hayes with a possible heel turn. And at first, I'm like, well, I don't know if I like that. But now, saying and think about it, this is going to be great for not only Trick Williams, this is going to be great for Carmelo Hayes. And I'm going to tell you why in a second, after we talk about the main event. Ilya Dragunov deserves this. He is, again, one of the best wrestlers in the world. NXT champion. Who's going to take the belt off? I don't know who the hell is going to take this belt off of him. Like, legitimately, there's nobody that can take this belt off of him right now. They may have him go up against Baron Corbin. They may have him go up against Braun Breaker, maybe even again. You know what I mean? But you got Brian Pillman Jr. There was a vignette for Brian Pillman Jr. at NXT No Mercy as well, which was great. Can't wait to see him. He should be debuting next few weeks, hopefully. But legitimately, who's going to take this title off of Ilya Dragunov? Wes Lee, we need to know the whereabouts of Wes Lee. Is he going to come back as a new character? I don't know. You know what I mean? But great match. Match of the weekend for me. Just phenomenal. If you didn't watch No Mercy, or if you don't really care about NXT, you owe yourself to go watch these last 2 matches. Phenomenal match. Extreme Rules for the NXT Women's Championship. Becky Lynch, Tiffany Stratton. Only got 15 minutes left in the show here. I may go a little bit overboard today. So I'm not going to try to rush this here. Becky Lynch, I will say that I don't understand why she's the NXT champion. I'm just going to say right off the bat. I don't understand why she needs the NXT championship. But I cannot fault that when it comes to the in-ring stuff, and when it comes to big-time matches, she is phenomenal. Tiffany Stratton, for someone who's only been doing this for about 3 years, for somebody who looks like how she looks like, Barbie doll, right? You know what I mean? Just beautiful, beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. Ludwig Kaiser, you're a lucky man. But just the way that she looks and how great she is in the ring, on how great she developed herself in the last 2 years. You know what I mean? Just going on to being 2 years from her being on TV. Just on how effortlessly she makes this look. She's looking better than some wrestlers who's been around for years. Years. Tiffany Stratton, she's the future. These women put on a hell of a main event. Even though I don't think it was as good as the match before, this was still worthy of the main event. A lot of people were saying, oh, is Jay going to come out? Is Jay going to come out because Becky Lynch and Tiffany Stratton was main eventing? I didn't think we needed that. I didn't think that was necessary. But I'm glad that Jay didn't come out. It didn't call for it. It didn't need it. But weapons, kendo sticks, tables, shopping carts, trash cans, you name it, it happened in this match. Tiffany Stratton got cut open a little bit early in the match. Becky and Tiffany was fighting the crowd at the beginning of the match. Becky, she has I don't know what happened, but she ripped her arm open. It's on her social media. It's like a big chunk of her skin got ripped out of her arm. It looks like a it looks like a baby zombie just took that out of her. But just a hard-hitting match. Near falls. Tiffany Stratton almost picked up the wins. Becky Lynch is still your NXT Women's Champion. But my question is, where does Tiffany Stratton go from here? Anything that she does on NXT is going to be looked at as less. She has to be going to the main roster. She needs to go to the main roster today. Have her show up at SmackDown. There's nothing else that Tiffany Stratton needs to do. She lost to Becky Lynch 2 matches straight. There's nothing else for Tiffany Stratton to do at all. Have her go to SmackDown. Actually, she may end up going to Monday Night Raw because she's dating Ludwig Kaiser. So if she's going anywhere, she's going to Monday Night Raw. So there's that. They tend to like to keep couples together, unless if they finally break up Imperium, and Ludwig Kaiser goes to SmackDown, and Tiffany Stratton goes over there with them. But as of right now, Tiffany Stratton, just to me, one of the best and quickest transitions from being a non-wrestler to a wrestler in WWE history. That quickly, being that good, that quick. She is going to be, by the time that she is, because what is she right now? She's in her 20s still. She's 24. She's 24 years old. I didn't realize, I knew she was young, but it just dawned on me on how young she actually is. Unreal. She came in the class with Soul Sikoa as well. How's that class doing right now? Tiffany Stratton and Soul Sikoa. They're doing pretty well, I think. But the fact that she's 24 years old and she's this good this early, imagine her in 3 years when she's 27. She's going to be the best women's wrestler in the world. When it's all said and done, if she keeps this up with her career, she doesn't get any in trouble, no backstage heat, none of that. She's just, towing that company line, going for it. She's going to get everything that she wants and more. Multiple-time world champion. By the time that she's 30 years old, she's probably going to be known as one of the best of all time. If she keeps this up. Now, the only thing I will say that she needs to improve on, and I'm going to keep saying it until it happens, is that she needs to improve her mic skills. Outside of that, she's just phenomenal. That was NXT's No Mercy, guys. At the end of the show, you see Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams. This is my first time ever seen a little backstage mini promo segment to end the show. Carmelo was like, man, I'm sorry, man. I thought we was, supposed to be champions together. And Trick was like, oh, no, don't worry about it. You see Carmelo look at the North American Championship, embraces Trick Williams, and that was the end of the program. No heel turn as of yet. At first, I wanted to be Trick Williams to be turning heel on Carmelo Hayes. But now, looking at it, Carmelo Hayes possibly turning heel. He hasn't turned heel yet, but it looks like it's leaning that way from turning heel. I think it's better, and I'm going to tell you why. You got 3 men on SmackDown right now that's forming a new group. And Bobby Lashley and Street Profits. And it looks like they solidify themselves as heels on Friday. How appropriate would it be if Carmelo Hayes is done in NXT after he has his match or 2 with Trick Williams, gets called up to the main roster, and is in the new group, wherever they're calling this new group, with the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley? Wouldn't that be great for Carmelo to be on the main roster with 3 solidified superstars already? That would get Carmelo over. that would get Carmelo, more eyes on Carmelo. That would make the casual WWE fan know who Carmelo Hayes is immediately. And once they see his in-ring stuff, and once they see his charisma, and once they see, his promo ability, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, that's the future right there. Carmelo Hayes joining Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits is possibly the best way to go. Having them turning heel and them being heels is that catalyst for the bigger picture at the end of the day. I'm looking at the bigger picture. Right now, the little picture's like, Carmelo Hayes turning heel. I would have kept him babyface. But in the big picture, in the long run, have him come up as a heel on the main roster. And I think that'll be tremendous. NXT, 9 out of 10. I thought overall it was a overall better show than WrestleDream, in my personal opinion. If you put WrestleDream as your show of the weekend, I'm not going to argue you on that, because WrestleDream was phenomenal as well. But I thought there was some little gaga in between at WrestleDream. Here on NXT, it was a little bit more easier to compact. I think the only thing most people probably be down on is the Heritage Cup match. It's different. Not everyone's going to like it. But great shows overall. Great weekend. I love pro wrestling, guys. I really, really love pro wrestling at the end of the day. Moving on. I got one last story here, and that's a stream. That's a podcast here. And we're going to end it here with very outside the box of what we've been talking about today. But I didn't get to talk about this on Friday, and I do want to give my quick thoughts about this. Keiji Muto, the Great Muta, states that there's a possibility of something of WWE and Pro Wrestling Noah being born. Noah is also Abema. I still can't say Abema. A member of the Cyber Agent Group. With this, WWE is also Abema. There's a possibility that something about WWE and Noah will be born with this. And that is the sources of BBM Sports Japan. Look, if we can get any utilization of two wrestling promotions coming together, and WWE hasn't really done that in a long time, where they have partnerships. Their last major one was AAA and the NWA in like 1998, where you had towel exchanges and stuff like that. We haven't seen towel exchanges in WWE for almost 25 years at this point. You know what I mean? Yeah, you kind of had a little bit of a talent exchange a little bit with the Ric Flair and the Christian Cage thing. Remember, Christian went to TNA for like their, I want to say it was for a Slammiversary show, right? Yeah, I mean when Christian was under contract, in exchange for Ric Flair being inducted into the Hall of Fame for the Four Horsemen. That was the last time we saw anything like that, right? But I will say this should have been really, and we saw a talent exchange earlier this year, technically as well. Not exchange, but really from WWE letting Noah borrow Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura was in a Pro Wrestling Noah ring earlier this year, the first of the year. Imagine some of the talent coming over from Noah to WWE and vice versa. We'll see brand new matches. We'll see, we'll just see a different dynamic. We'll see actually pay-per-views in Japan. That'll be great. It'll be fantastic. It'll be fantastic if we can see that. But at the end of the day, I don't know if it's going to happen for sure. I don't know if it's something that WWE is going to do or not. But if we see Masawa, or if we see someone like Jake Lee, or we see Anthony Green, Timothy Thatcher are over there in Noah as well. Like, and you know how fond Triple H was of Timothy Thatcher. He brought him into NXT Black and Gold. So, we'll see. We'll see on how everything opens up here, but Kiyomiya as well. You know what I mean? So he's great too. Jake Lee's great too. So anyway, this gives WWE a little bit, and also as well, you get some of these guys probably coming to WWE, fully too as well. So time exchanges, actually getting more people over here in general to the WWE brand, and getting people from WWE to Noah. Nakamura. I want to see maybe a Akira Tozawa being taken seriously over there in Noah. That would be great to see, right? You know what I mean? So they have a lot of options if they decide to do that. All right, guys, that is it. That's the podcast. What a podcast. What a weekend for pro wrestling. Tremendous. This is a very exciting time for AEW. Very exciting time for WWE. CM Punk may end up coming to WWE. That may be the next big move. Maybe at Survivor Series. I don't know. I don't know for sure. But something's telling me that WWE is going to counter this Edge, Adam Copeland, to AEW thing. And I think we get to see, possibly, maybe, Phil Brooks coming back under a WWE umbrella. And all of a sudden people are going to love Phil Brooks again, right? Because, he's back in WWE. I love him. You know what I mean? So it's great for pro wrestling, man. WWE and AEW is just doing. They're both hot right now. They're both hot. Usually AEW is hot. WWE runs a little bit cold. Sometimes AEW runs cold. WWE becomes hot. Right now, they're both hot right now. And it's good to see. But that is it for me, guys. That is it for the podcast here. Thank you so much for coming out. If you were watching this here live on YouTube, leave a thumbs up. I want to get millions of people as possible to check out my podcast here. I'm here every morning, 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Like I said, subscribe and turn on notifications bell. Follow me on Spotify and Google Play and podcasts or Apple Podcasts. Do not follow me on X, because on X, Twitter, I'm blocked right now. I don't know why. I have to figure that out. But follow me on my Instagram. Those links are down below as well. And last but not least, last ad here, my company, Spinebuster Tees, spinebustertees.com. Fall sale is up. You can use Fall 10 at checkout. You can get the mommy shirt. You get the Just Enjoy Wrestling t-shirt, which a lot of people need out there after last night. Just Enjoy Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. The hardcore wrestling t-shirt. Just a lot of great designs on there. Check that out. Spinebuster Tees, spinebustertees.com. Get it shipped to you. It takes about a week and a half to get to you. That is it, guys. Thank you guys so much for everything here that you guys do for me. And we'll see you tomorrow for another episode of the Morning Slam Podcast. I'll see you guys later. Peace.